So in chapter 1145 of One Piece, we find out that I was absolutely right, and I'm so excited. So Goldberg, the cook of the new Giant Warrior Pirates, has a shield. I was right in saying that shield is a homie. However, it's a homie created by Big Mom and not Mother Caramel like I originally thought. But what's so interesting about this is that Nash, the name of the homie shield, is actually an heirloom passed down from Goldberg's father to Goldberg. It became a homie after Goldberg's father clashed with Big Mom. However, in the fight between Goldberg, Zoro, Sanji, and the Groggysaurus, we find that Nash, the shield, is very similar to homies like Napoleon, Hera, Prometheus, and Zeus, in which it can change its shape. This means somehow, some way, Nash is a special homie like those homies, because regular homies whom are not made from Big Mom's own soul don't have all these transformative abilities. They aren't complex beings like Zeus is, for example. And the reason why I bring this up is because Zeus is actually mentioned after the Groggysaurus is defeated in saying, oh yeah, Nash has to be like Zeus. And I think that's a loaded statement, because Nash, like Zeus, like Napoleon especially, and like Prometheus and Hera, has these special abilities. It can increase in size and in thickness. Normal homies like Rudolph, for example, whom is a rabbit, he doesn't have any special abilities. He's just an anthropomorphic rabbit. Or like King Bomb. King Bomb is an anthropomorphic tree. He doesn't have any special abilities. He just has human traits. That's the crux of the Soul Fruit. It gives non-human things that aren't corpses human traits. So for him to even have this hint of complexity means that he is a homie created by Big Mom's own soul. So this could also mean that he could be as complex potentially as, say, Napoleon. Because if you remember, Napoleon, when at rest, is a hat, but then it can turn into several blades. So we'll have to wait and see what else Goldberg has up his sleeve with Nash. Can Nash, for example, eat things and spit them back out? This would make sense for a weapon who is being held by a chef, because he could just absorb the enemy attacks by eating them and then spit them back out. Now, in regards to his name, this makes sense because there's a very interesting double entendre here. His name could be in reference to the English word Nash. The only difference is that that word is spelled Gnash, where his name is just spelled Nash. But that is a word which means to grind your teeth. So that too is a bit of an eating pun, which also makes sense seeing as how he was created by Big Mom. What's so funny too about Nash in relationship to other homies is that much like Napoleon, he is a traditional weapon whose name starts with N. And he appears to be a special homie made from Big Mom's soul, much like Napoleon. And they are dynamically opposed because Nash is a shield made for defense, whereas Napoleon is a bicorn who can turn into several blades. So in that way, they are polar opposites. What's also interesting about this too is that unlike all the other special homies created by Big Mom, Napoleon and Nash seem to have names inspired by real people. Napoleon Bonaparte and potentially Kevin Nash. But we're going to get into that a little later. Continuing though. Then we have Goldberg, right? Goldberg's name most likely comes from the wrestler Bill Goldberg. The funny bit of trivia that I just found out is that Kevin Nash ended Goldberg's 173 win streak in WCW's flagship event called Starrcade, and this happened in 1998. So while Nash defeated Goldberg in the real world, Nash defends Goldberg in One Piece. So that's a pretty interesting dichotomy there. With that being said, give me your thoughts and tell your friends about Polypede. What?